Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about the changes I made to the CVT snorkel, and just decided to do something different with this. Initially in my other video, I had the rear coming out. I took the stock snorkel stuff off, and matter of fact, I ran this is what I had going out, and the hose went out and around and up like you see most people doing it. The problem is that I've kind of found though was, and it seemed to work okay, but the way it comes out here and with this frame here, it really has to, when you come out of here, it almost has to do a dead 90 that way. And the hose did not really, I was just worried that this hose, that at some point would get leaks or something going on with it. And I just really, I don't know, I just wasn't really satisfied with that. It ran down under the other side and come up, and I actually changed the front one too, but I'll get into that in a minute. And this is kind of the old setup that I had. I had that piece of plate bolted to the rack here. I had this snorkel coming out, and the hose ran down, around, up, and out there. And the longer it sat, I just wasn't really happy with this setup. I just wasn't happy with it. I wanted to try something different, and what I come up with is, well, this right here, coming out the back. Don't know if I've really ever seen anybody come out the back with it, but I figured I would try it. And what I was able to do is pretty much use the stock snorkel here, I guess, and then this is stock here. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that I don't know why they designed it this way, but this piece of this bracket here and the one that's under there, I know it's there so that the frame, so that the snorkel can sit on the frame. The problem is this is not, this is, if you cut this off, I wanted to cut this off so that you could fit this thing in and out easier. The problem is that this is actually part of the snorkel. This is hollow. It's not like the tube is round and this is just, you could cut this off. No, if you cut this off, you would have to seal it up because it's part of this. So that was a little bit of a pain, but what I was able to do and what seemed to work good was here. This is just a 2-inch pipe. This was a 2-inch coupling, and it fit really nice into this. And it fit really tight, and I put it in, just put some silicone, and there's no pressure, so it actually goes back pretty far, so I didn't really worry. I'm not worried about it coming out, but I siliconed it up real good, glued the 2-inch pipe into the coupling, siliconed it real good, and I'm really happy with that. I don't think there's really going to be any leaks, although I guess I won't really know until it's tested in the water. But to give you a rough idea, I come out the back and then just used all 2-inch pipe. Come out, come up, come around, and at the top. And this is really solid. I was a bit worried about how solid it might be, but with it coming out here, I mean, that's not really moving. Having this anchored it, and it also being glued together, I mean, this thing is solid. It's not, I was going to put some zip ties here, but I mean, it really doesn't need it. But what I basically did was just took a piece of angle, cut it, and then these U-bolts, Put 2 U-bolts here, and then the U-bolt here to this, and it's solid. I mean, this thing is really solid. Now I left this, I didn't glue that because I just really didn't feel like I needed to glue it. This, I might could turn this or whatever. I didn't want to glue that, so that's not glued. Everything else is glued and is really solid. And now the bad side is you have to cut the plastic. If you want to run it exactly like this, you do got to cut the plastic, which I cut about that much off, and then just rounded this corner here to make it look, instead of just being just straight down, because that looked like real garbage. But this makes it look a little better. Not real crazy about it, but it's not too bad. I don't mind it too much either. Now, I'm sure that you might could get away without cutting the plastic and make this thing come out, which initially I wanted to just come right out the back. The other problem with doing that is this box. If you have this box on here like that, if you wanted to come straight out the back, you're going to have to come way out here and have it come up enough that you would clear this box. And it's okay when it's up, but when it's down, it's way out here, and I didn't like that. So to get around that, I ran it this way up here, and I can still have my box, and it's still solid. And quite honestly, I don't think it really looks too bad. It's nice and hidden. Of course, again, I don't have my storage boxes under there and all, and so to do it like I did, well, you'd have to do all of that. But I think actually the way this is run, it's not too bad. And the pipe doesn't stick way out past the fenders, so it really shouldn't, for trail riding, really shouldn't matter too much. I rode this thing a little bit. It does, with the fenders off, it does kick up some more mud. It's going to get pretty muddy under here. Over here is the same way. It's going to throw mud up here because of that. The tire, it's going to throw some mud up there. But I think I'm going to be a lot happier with that. And so far, I haven't done a whole lot of testing with it, but just riding around, everything seems pretty solid. And I also made some changes to the front, because just like over here, I had the same thing on this side. And I decided to do away with that too and do this different. Now, I still used the shock vac hose. That's still the same, because this seems all pretty solid. As far as anything trying to leak, there's no, don't think that's going to leak at all. And it still comes out, and it goes into this coupling. The hose runs up into the coupling. And what I did was here, let me see if I hope I can get it, I can sort of see that. Probably can't see it too good from here. Let me get around to this side. Apparently it's just not gonna. Anyway, coupling there, this screws down into it, and I cut this hole so that the threads would, the threads only come, I cut the hole big enough so that just the threads, so that when I screwed this down, it actually is screwing this down to this plate. And it's just a small piece of aluminum that I had laying around that I cut. So this actually screws down. Now I got to tighten this down a little bit more, because while this is pretty solid, it does move a little bit. See, it does, and when you crank it up initially, it will rattle or vibrate from side to side a little bit. But still pretty solid, I think. I just have to tighten it up. I may have to do something else here. Not quite sure, but same thing with this. I put these U-bolts in, and what I'm going to want to do though is I'm probably going to trim these up. because I need to tighten this up. I need to put a pair of pliers there, pliers here, and tighten that up some more, because I think if I can tighten that up a little more, it will help some of that. But I got to cut these threads a little bit so I can get to it. But that's pretty much what it looks like. I like this a lot more. I like this look a lot more than I did this. And what I'm going to do over here is I think when I go to run the snorkel for the air box, I'm going to kind of come out this side, go through, and come up here. I think this is where the air box snorkel is going to be here, and I'll just hard pipe it in. I'll probably do it pretty much like that, except over here, and that'll be what I have snorkel wise. This is going to be a future project, not probably right now. I'm trying to get the CVT snorkel down the way I like it before I do the air box. But I think I'm going to be pretty happy with this setup. I like the way it looks. Of course, you can always paint this too, and I probably will. But before I did that, I'm just kind of testing this to see how I think I'm going to like it. So far, seems to do okay. And here, the same way, this isn't glued down. Because I may want to turn it or whatever, for whatever reason. I didn't really want to glue that. Like I say, the only bad thing, does vibrate a little bit on the front, but this is solid. That's solid, and I think I'm going to like that better. I think it's going to be a lot better. So, I think that's about it for that. That's all I can kind of think of. And again, it really wasn't hard, just a few fittings, and that shop vac hose fits perfectly right up. It fits perfectly into this 2-inch fitting here. Now, also what I did before I screwed this down, I put some silicone on the inside. I siliconed the hose so that I had some in there just in case water come up here, it couldn't seep in through the bottom like that. So I put silicone inside where the hose meets up, siliconed it, and then screwed this down. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else offhand. About this. Like I say, I like it. I think this is going to work out pretty good. Everything's kind of nice and hidden under here, and I don't think this looks too bad either. And it's really solid. I was a little worried about all this moving around, but it's rock solid, especially doing it like this with this bracket. That seems to work perfect for this. And so I think that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching.